What will he find out there, Doctor?
His destiny. This whole thing is insane. Take your stinking paws off me, you damn dirty ape!
I lied. I said the next episode wouldn't come until Wednesday. That's because I had everything scheduled out to, I had the next 4 movies done. I'm like, yeah, I'll do that. Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday. It'll be okay. But I forgot about the retro review. So there was actually 5 episodes left, not 4. So I kind of messed that up. And I would retro review, I could probably do that on Saturday right after I do the War of the Planet of the Apes. But no, because there's a UFC event on Saturday and I'm not going to miss it. And the retro review requires a lot of editing because there's a lot of pictures. This one's going to have a lot of pictures. Which brings me to another thing. I had someone ask why I don't put videos in the episodes anymore. That's actually because the original Planet of the Apes, you can find clips of that to use, but the more modern movies, the more modern you get, you can't find clips, and you actually get pinged for copyright infringement. So I got pinged on one of my episodes. I think it was Conquest. I got pinged for that. They were like, "No, you can't. You can't monetize this because that's copyright." And I don't monetize anyway. But just saying, that's why I don't use video clips anymore. I'll use pictures, but I got to be careful with what I use. I also got pinged for the Rammstein thing for using Du Hast in my video. I'm like, all right. I don't monetize them, so I don't care, but it still kind of sucks to get hit with a copyright. But I digress. Here we are. This is the first of the final trilogy. This is Rise of the Planet of the Apes from 2011. On the last episode, I said this was Matt Reeves. I was wrong. Matt Reeves does the last 2, not Rise. So that's actually someone else. And this is the start of a full-blown trilogy. This isn't just 3 Apes movies thrown together. This is a complete arc. All 3 of these movies create an entire story, which is why I love this trilogy so much. We got... it's basically the story of Caesar with... this one, Rise of the Planet of the Apes. This is his rise to power. This is how Caesar became the leader of the apes. Dawn will be more about the bringing together of the apes and how they are starting to take over, and War is, of course, the war for taking over the planet. So, this is it, Rise of the Planet of the Apes. It's a nice little tight hour and 45 minutes, directed by Rupert Wyatt, who really didn't do much more. After that, he didn't really do a whole lot of other movies after this, or before or after. He's not super famous, but he still made a really, really, really good movie. The writers here are a team of writers: Rick Jaffa and it may be Hoffa, but I think it's Jaffa. Rick Jaffa and Amanda Silver. They wrote all 3 of these Apes movies, which is super cool. They also were the team that wrote Jurassic World, which is another. I thought it was a good movie. There are people that don't like that movie. Now, separate, Jeff did Eye for an Eye, the Sally Field, Kiefer Sutherland movie, which was, if you haven't seen it, actually a really good movie. And then Amanda Silver, her first movie, that Eye for an Eye was his first movie. Amanda Silver, her first movie was The Hand That Rocks the Cradle with Rebecca De Mornay, which was a disturbing movie. It was really good and super suspenseful, but God, it was disturbing. Whew. So these 2 wrote a lot of things together, so it's really cool. We have a good cast here, with, of course, Caesar, played by Andy Serkis, the legend himself. I know he does not have exactly a recognizable face. That's because he does a lot of CG characters. He played, most famously, Gollum from Lord of the Rings. He was Gollum and Smeagol. Really awesome. He also played King Kong in Peter Jackson's King Kong. He was also in that movie, casted in that movie as a character. So he does a lot of motion capture. And he actually was not supposed to be. They were going to have a stuntman play Caesar in this, but the producer was like, no, get Andy Serkis to do it. He already knows how to play an ape because he played a giant gorilla. We also have James Franco as Will. I am a huge fan of James Franco. I think he is a phenomenal actor. If you haven't seen 127 Hours, I highly recommend it. He's also a great comedic actor. He was really good in This is the End. I got a little twiggly here that I just now noticed. What the hell? Oh well. Just do this. There we go. Yeah, I don't like the twiggly. We have John Lithgow as Charles. John Lithgow. I love John Lithgow. He was... A lot of people know him from Harry and the Hendersons and several other movies, but he was also my favorite killer in the Dexter series. He was the Trinity Killer. So, love John Lithgow there. We have Caroline, played by Frida Pinto. She's a wicked awesome actress, very beautiful, and she's awesome in this. Those are our protagonists. She plays a veterinarian in a zoo, and she is also Will's love interest. So then we have our antagonists. We have Stephen, played by Danny. I cannot say his last name real well. It's like Oilowo or something. I've seen him in a lot of movies, and he's really good. So that's all that matters. And he is a sleazeball in this. Now, he is our main protagonist, but he really doesn't do anything just outright horrible. He's more of the reason why the virus spreads. More than just doing dastardly things. His villainy is by not doing something or pushing an initiative. Next we have, now these two are the slime balls of the movie. We have Dodge, played by Tom Felton. Yes, that is Draco Malfoy. And I mean, Tom Felton plays a great sleazeball. He was so good as Draco Malfoy, and he's good in this as just a guy that you just want to die. Like, please kill this guy. And he is also one of the only ones to die. There's not a lot of death in this movie, but he's the first kill. It's like, oh, yes. When he dies, you're like, yes. It's very cool. And then his father, John, played by Brian Cox, who is just an ass. He is a sleazy guy, but he doesn't really hide it. He's more of just like, yeah, this is my place, and I'll run it how I want to run it. And he's more of a bad guy by omission. Because he doesn't stop anything. Like, he doesn't stop the abuse of the animals. He runs the primate sanctuary, and he is just does not care about the abuse that goes on there. So, and Dodge, his son, plays the abuser. But this movie is phenomenal. I like it. This actually had less budget than Tim Burton's Planet of the Apes by like $7 million. And but this thing, even though it had lesser budget, grossed $38 million more than all the other Planet of the Apes combined. That is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and Burton's combined. It made more money than all of them. It's like, that's pretty freaking amazing. Like, that's a lot of money. I'm pretty sure that's like, they don't put in inflation in there, but yeah, it's nuts. That's a lot of freaking money. There's a lot of shout outs to the original Planet of the Apes. There's I'll run through a few of them, but there's one that was particularly really cool. There is a point where they're all in the primates are in their cages and they're watching TV, and on TV is a Charlton Heston movie, which is awesome. It's kind of like, yeah, Charlton Heston. There is a point where he's putting together a puzzle. Caesar's putting together a puzzle, And the puzzle he's putting together is a man and a woman on a horse riding down a beach. But when you freeze frame the movie, it's actually Nova and Taylor riding down the beach from Planet of the Apes right before he finds the Statue of Liberty. I loved that. That was really cool. But probably the coolest stuff about this movie... Oh, look, my mic's showing again. Yeah, this mic, I can get real close and whisper to you. The coolest thing about this is the what could have beens, and there's a lot of them. It's really cool. I've got pictures this time. Woo! So let's do Will, our Will, who James Franco's got the role, but Tobey Maguire was up for this. Which is really funny because Tobey Maguire was in Spider-Man with James Franco, so someone from Spider-Man got it anyway. Another one that was up for this, Shia LaBeouf. Me personally, I am actually a massive fan of Shia LaBeouf. I think he's a highly underrated actor. Right now, he's going through some serious personal problems and having some major accusations thrown his way. I hope they're not true, but if they are, because they're pretty bad. They're a lot of abuse. But putting personal stuff aside, he is a phenomenal actor, and there's a great story about Shia LaBeouf when he was making the movie Lawless with Tom Hardy. Shia LaBeouf is a actor that stays in his role. It's called method acting. He becomes his character, and he was his character, and Tom Hardy was supposed to be playing his older brother, and he was nagging at him, and apparently, this is a story from Tom Hardy's mouth, he made Shia LaBeouf so mad in real life that Shia decked him and knocked him out, like unconscious. So Shia LaBeouf knocked out Tom Hardy. That's something. Dodge, who Tom Felton took over. Dodge, this one's a little crazy. I can't see this one. Brandon Routh, Superman, was supposed to play, or was up for the role of Dodge, and I just can't see that. He's so nice and such an everyman. It would have been a turn for him. Another one up for that role, Kalen Lutz. A lot of people know him from the Twilight series. He was also, I think, Hercules in a movie. Not like a bad actor, more of a on the line of like a Vin Diesel, Mark Wahlberg, where it's like he's not a great actor, but he can act. Mark Wahlberg actually can. He has the chops to do something. It's just a lot of his movies, he's very inconsistent. He plays really crappy roles, and sometimes he's really good in roles. So, I don't know, but Kalen Lutz almost got it. For Steven, the role of Steven, the one that David... whatever, I can't say his last name, Idris Elba. I would love to see that. I'm a huge fan of Idris Elba. Everyone knows that. If you watch this show, you know I'm a huge fan of Idris Elba because I wanted him to play Bond. Like, it'd be great. Another one, Idris Elba actually can play a bad guy. He's done it before. So, and another one, Jamie Foxx. Definitely could have pulled it off. Phenomenal actor. So I would have had no problem with Jamie Foxx playing that role. He would have been killer in that. In the role of John, who Brian Cox took over, the mean primate sanctuary holder, we had Danny DeVito. Danny DeVito would have killed it. Danny DeVito is, oh my god, don't even give me, he's so good. And another one who would have killed it too, Michael Douglas. Michael Douglas, dope actor. He's most recently in Ant-Man, so I love it. And then we get to Charles. No one, I really don't think anyone could have knocked it out of the park like John Lithgow did, but there were two people. We have Christopher Walken. Wow, where's my car keys? Oh my god, I can't even remember my name. I don't know how to play the piano. You know, we could have had Christopher Walken as Charles. And then the other one, which I would have loved to see, Robert Englund. That's Freddy Krueger himself. Robert Englund was up for this role. Now, either these people turned it down or wanted too much money or something else. Something happened. But those are your possibilities. There was a director, I didn't get any pictures of them, but director Catherine Bigelow was almost up for it. Catherine Bigelow directed Near Dark, and she was the first female director to win the Best Director in the Oscars for Hurt Locker. And then Robert Rodriguez was also up, and I think Robert Rodriguez would have done a good job. It would have been a little chaotic, but it was cool. So that's your fun little facts for the movie. There is one more. I'll get to it when we get to the end. There was a different ending to this movie originally. So this whole movie is the rise of Caesar, and we start with Caesar's mom being captured in there, and she has green flecks in her eyes, and she's hanging out with this guy. That is Tyler Labine. He plays Dale in Tucker and Dale versus Evil, but he plays Robert Franklin here, who he's in a very important part. But he's not a star. He's more of a side thing. He's not in the movie a lot, but he's extremely important because he is patient zero. Because a virus spreads in this, the simian human virus, and he's the first one to get it. So, but that doesn't happen till way later. But they're basically doing trials on them, and the whole thing is they're doing trials on these animals to try to cure mental diseases, specifically Alzheimer's, because Will, James Franco's character's father, John Lithgow, Charles, has Alzheimer's, and he's just trying to cure Alzheimer's. That's all he's trying to do. It's all he wants. But one of the apes goes crazy, Bright Eyes, who is named after Taylor's character from the 1968 Planet of the Apes. Nice little shout out. Love it. Goes crazy and ends up getting killed, so they have to put down all the apes that have been subjected to these trials. It's a sad moment, but turns out the trial didn't make her go crazy. She was pregnant, and she gave birth to Caesar. And we meet baby Caesar, and he has all her intelligent attributes. On his second day of life, he's feeding himself. He's able to do all these tests. Because Will takes him home because he doesn't want him to be destroyed. So and that's what they say, destroyed. They takes him home and raises him, and it turns into a father-son relationship that is very cool. And the acting in this is awesome. And Lithgow is, I mean, when I say he knocks it out of the park, I'm talking about a grand slam home run, man. He kills this role. He is so sympathetic. You feel for this guy. He plays Alzheimer's very well, because a lot of people think that Alzheimer's is just, oh, you're forgetting things, but you're forgetting things in the moment. And there's a point where he's like, where's my keys? I can't find my keys. And James Franco says, Dad, you don't drive anymore. And he says, I knew that. And he continues on. And it's such a sad thing, but he can't give his dad this serum because he doesn't know if it works on humans. Eventually, he takes it home and gives his dad his serum, and it works, and he starts getting better. But Caesar grows up and becomes a great wingman. He's like, hey, he teaches him sign language, so he's like, hey, she's like, yeah, he wants me to have dinner with you. He's in there talking to Caroline. When he gets hurt, Caesar gets hurt in a way, and she has to give him stitches. So he takes her to the vet, and she's like, oh, you should ask her out. And he does, and they start dating. And we have several montages, passes of time of Caesar growing, and Caesar grows into a teenager. And that's when he actually gets in trouble. So it's kind of bad. He has a moment where he's realizing who he is, and he has a point where they take him to this park where he can run around free, pretty much. And they take him to the car, and every time he gets in the car, they open up the back hatch, and he hops in the back and stuff like that. But this time he stops, and because he sees a dog, and the dog runs off, and he gets in. So instead of getting in the back, he opens up the back door and gets in the back seat and sits there like a, and he starts asking questions, am I a pet? And he's like, and of course, Will, no, you're not a pet. He's like, what am I? Who am I? And he starts questioning, who's my mother, stuff like that. It's like a really, for being a CGI ape, it's actually a really touching scene. So he's going back, and he actually shows him that this is where your mom lived. She's dead. I'm your dad. Will's like, I'm your dad. I'm raising you. And the kind of crappy part here is that the medicine stops working for Charles. It does. And Caesar sees him in trouble. There's a regression, and he's working on a puzzle, and it's the Statue of Liberty, and it's only from here up that the Statue of Liberty is being done. So it's a kind of another homage to the original Planet of the Apes. But he sees him in trouble, and he has to save him. The thing is, he assaults a human. Caesar assaults a human, and he has to be taken away. And this is where the real part of the real meat of the movie starts, is when he gets put into the ape sanctuary, because it's the first time he's ever been around apes, and he is smarter than these guys, but they are stronger, or not stronger. They pretty much pick on him the whole time. And we meet Draco Malfoy, who the first time we meet him, one of the first lines he says is he puts Caesar in the cage, and all the other apes go crazy. And when he's walking away, Draco says, "It's a madhouse, a madhouse." Very cool. Shout out to 1968. Once again, there's a lot of these. Very cool. So we meet that, and they basically, Caesar is subjected to every torture that Taylor from the original Planet of the Apes is subjected to. He's fighting with the other inmates. It's basically what they are. He gets a fire hose turned on him. It's like it's pretty much everything that happens to him happens to Taylor in '68. But he does end up having a fight, like a full on fight with another ape in the sanctuary, and the ape beats him up because he doesn't know what he's doing, because he's intelligent. And he meets an orangutan who he has a sign language conversation with, which is really cool because he's a Serkis ape. There is another point where we meet another ape named Cornelia, named after Cornelius from the 1968 Planet of the Apes. And Caesar is becoming wiser. He actually pretty much makes the bully ape bow down to him and recognize him as the leader. So Caesar has now taken over, and he did it through intelligence instead of brute strength. Something you just have to see because it's very cool. And he's using tools to escape during the Cornelia scene, and Draco brings two girls to the sanctuary to meet all the apes, and all of them are acting up. Caesar actually steals a knife, and he uses it to escape every night and do certain things. And Caesar becomes the alpha at this point because he did it. But during all this time, he's in this ape sanctuary, and Will's trying to get him out. Will's trying his best to do what he can, but it's just not working. And then his dad passes away, and he ends up quitting his job because he was doing the trials, and he's like, it doesn't work, and people are getting sick because they turn the serum into a gas form, and no human has ever breathed it. Only apes have. And our Robert Franklin, Dale, breathes it and gets sick and gets the simian human virus. He's the first one to get it. And he starts spreading it. So, yeah, this is how the humans die out. It's not because all the apes killed them. It's because of a virus, which is kind of, for these times, it works. Yeah, they're building. He actually escapes. Caesar escapes, and it goes to where Will works, and goes to Will's home and steals all the serum gas, and lets it loose in the animals in the ape sanctuary. Now all these apes are intelligent because he goes by and checks them. They all have green eyes now, and it's like, crap. And he's building this army. Dale dies in the middle of this, and then that's when he's like, look, this is not good. People are dying. You can't use this serum because it's killing humans. It's helping the apes, but it's killing humans. But this is where our main antagonist, Steven, is like, no, this is going to make us so much money. And he's like, yeah, but it's killing humans. You don't understand. And he's like, I quit. I'm done. He leaves, and we get the final escape where Caesar's finally out, and he is actually fighting Draco Malfoy over here. He's fighting Dodge, and he grabs Dodge, and Dodge says, get your stinking paws off me, you damn dirty ape. Just like '68, and he ends up killing Draco. Draco's going to turn the hose on him, but Draco's going to hit him with the cattle prod, and Caesar turns on the hose, shocking him to death. So he's dead. Yeah, it's bad. Oh man, but yeah, it's all. The virus is bad for humans, man. It's starting to kill people, and they finally rise up and escape. And this is where it all goes crazy, because they're escaping. They're running down the streets of San Francisco, throwing spears, basically killing people. They're trying to stop them. Some apes are dying. I mean, this is crazy. And then we has war on the bridge. The bridge where they're trying to get to the park that Caesar always runs free in. This is all they want to get to. And they're running free, and it causes an all-out war. But Caesar ain't letting them kill anybody. And then we have met who will become our main antagonist ape. He's not really an antagonist in this one, but our main antagonist ape is... oh, man. Can't even remember his name. But, yeah. Main antagonist ape. So, he has a big scar on his face. It's very, just, ugh. He looks horrible because he has like one eye scar. He looks like he's been burned like crazy. It's nuts. But they get to the bridge, all out war. And the gorilla. There's a really nice scene where a gorilla does a full-on Leroy Jenkins to a helicopter, jumps to it, takes it down. Very awesome. Unfortunately, that gorilla dies. Koba is the name of the antagonist, because Koba kills Steven, the bad guy. The bad guy's hanging from the helicopter, and Koba just kicks it over. It's very cool. And they finally cross the bridge, get to the woods, and they're free, except for Will's coming after them. And Will is trying to get Caesar to come home, but Caesar actually whispers in his ear, Caesar is home. And that's when Will's like, oh, dude, you can talk? Holy crap. It's like, what? You didn't? Okay. He's like, oh, whoa. The dude's a hyper intelligent ape. Yeah, I'm twisting my pen. I actually do that the whole time during the episode, way down here where you can't see it, and I just had it up here. But Caesar is home, and that is the end of the movie. The end of the movie is Caesar running up the tree and being free. But that wasn't the original end. The original end was the police follow the apes into the woods and pull guns on Caesar. And Caesar is standing there, and Will steps in front, and they shoot him dead. So in the original scene, in the original ending to this movie, Will dies. But test audiences hated it because it was a downer ending, and it's like, so it's Planet of the Apes. They have downer endings. But he ends up surviving, which doesn't really have a point because Will never shows up again in any of the other movies. Neither does Caroline. None of them are in Dawn of the Planet of the Apes or War for the Planet of the Apes. So you might as well have just killed Will. Like, why not? He's not going to come back. But that is the end of the movie. There is an after-credits scene. The after-credits scene is Will's neighbor, who earlier in the film, Dale sneezed in his face, and he is a pilot. So it's him walking through the airport, and there's drops of blood because one of the symptoms is a bloody nose, and there's drops of blood. And then it cuts to a little line from the plane showing where the plane went, and then it spreads out. And basically, it's spreading. So there we go. That is it. Like, that's the end of the movie. I know I had to kind of rush through it a little bit. I hit the main points. The reason why, here's the reason why I actually didn't run through this movie like I usually do, where I go point for point. And it's because I gave this movie an 8 out of 10. Yeah. High-ranking movie. Only 2 other movies in this series so far are better than this. And the only reason is because it's there is a little bit of lull and some boring parts and stuff like that. And it's, to me, I think it gets docked a little bit. It's cool that they do show so many homages to 1968, but the fact that they kept going back to it It's like, you know, we get it. You're showing homage to this movie. You love this movie. Gotcha. You don't have to keep harking back on it. So it kind of knocked it off for me. But so the reason why is because if you haven't seen this movie, I know I didn't spoil anything. I gave away the ending. Okay. Yeah, what do you expect Caesar to die? He's in the other two. So, but like, I'm hoping that if you haven't seen this, you will watch it after hearing this, because it is a absolutely phenomenal film. Like, it's really good. I watched it in 4K. It was beautiful. The CGI is a little dated, but I mean, it's just a really good movie that has great character development, and it's just a good story all around. So I loved it. But next time we are hitting up a brand new one. Oh yeah, we're doing what are we doing? It goes Dawn. Yeah, that's it. I forgot what I was doing. Dawn of the Planet of the Apes. That's the next one. That is 2014, I believe. Let me check. 2014. And it is a doozy. We have several good actors in this, including something that I've been talking about forever. I would love to see him in an Apes movie. Well, this is it. Gary Oldman is in this movie. Gary Oldman. So Gary Oldman in Dawn of the Planet of the Apes. And it's good. It's a good one. This one is all about the apes coming together and basically creating an army, and how they're going to take over, the world. So hopefully you'll join me for that. Hopefully. But thank you for watching this one, Rise of Planet of the Apes. I know it was a little scattershot. I know that I didn't throw in as much comedy in it as I usually do, because I didn't really have anything to make fun of. It's that good of a movie. So, yeah. But here it is, man. Hopefully you'll join me for the next one. For Dawn of the Planet of the Apes. Ooh.